before I came into it, it was mostly this pub culture, this mum jokes, this, that. And I came in like, no, we rapping now. This bars. Yeah. And it shifted. Yeah. It just kind of shifted, and it made rappers come in like, okay, we can come and do this, And then all of a sudden it crept in, and now there's guys who really do this. Yeah. They really do this.
Yeah, so I it took me a while to sort of find, okay, shit, there's some actual UK battles that are really cool. Let me check this out. And then I think it was when the URL, I was just sort of getting up to speed with what was happening when it was happening, when the URL came over here for Madness. And I was too green to go. It was literally within a week or two of me sort of discovering, oh shit, that's that, and it's here. I thought, no, I can't do it, and I probably wouldn't be able to get it. Gave myself reasons not to go, and then afterwards, when I watched the battles, I thought, damn shit, I should have gone.
Should have went there.
So yeah, after that, I thought, right, I'm gonna start.
I thought the same. Do you know why I didn't go? It was raining. That was literally.
Are you for real? Listen,
I got up.
You live in London.
I got up.
I can rain for you.
I looked out the window and I said, you know what? I'm not going out today. I'm not doing it. I'm just not doing it. I'll see all these people at a different time.
I can understand if you wanted some milk from the shop. Like, a bit of rain. Just like, nah, you know what? I can do without the tea.
No, I looked out and I just went, I've got to drive there, I've got to park. Because I know where the venue was as well, because KOTD had the same venue. So I'd gone there. Who did I watch? Who the fuck was it? Because I got there late, because I'm the worst guy for this shit. I'm the worst. I got there super late. And as I got there, Rivers was outside. And he got the worst search I've ever seen. They went through everything, and then they found his weed and they took it. And he was like, bro, and he was like, yeah, I can't, boom, 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 boom. In the end, he ended up coming in. And I had a queue in my balls. I was like, bro, how come you just didn't put in your balls?
Right?
The fuck?
Yeah.
But they took a half from me. I'm like, bro.
Oh, man.
But I got there super late, and I just walked in, and I think I saw Ara, and Ara was like, boom, come, let's go on the stage. And I literally walked in the thing, went onto the stage, just in time for Sharon's battle. So I knew where the venue was, and I thought, all right, so I've got to park here. I've got to walk. I don't know who's on the door. I don't know who else is in there. So it's going to be a long thing. I'm staying at home today, man. Leaving it alone.
Did you regret it? Did you think you should have gone? Okay. Well, there you go. You made the right decision then. You made the right decision then. Yeah, I guess, this is all new for me. So it's all still.
Have you been to an event?
Yeah. I was actually in fact, we said hello, or I said hello to you, at the Premier Battles. Was it Apex? You battled Serious.
Yes.
And his phone.
Yes. I battled Serious and his phone.
Yeah. So that was my first event, which I thought was really cool for a first event. Like, it was considering. There wasn't much going on in the UK scene at the time. It was a really nice first event. It really, it was a great atmosphere as well. And I think because you had some of the American guys come over, it was a different crowd. So I've been to a couple of sort of other things since, and there's different crowds, and
way different crowds. I tell you, I battled Chilla Jones and Math within 1 week of each other.
Wow.
Right? In the same venue, but for 2 different leagues. So it was in Ministry of Sound. When you go in Ministry, as you go in, you can see the smoking area, right? So for Chilla, I walked in and you could see everyone in the smoking area, and I know everyone because I know that it's Stone Flops battle rap. So, and the crowd was probably about 98% white. A week later, I came back to battle Math for Battle of the Brave. I walked in, and the smoking area was 100% black. And the thing is, I'd never seen these people before. I ain't seen them since. They turned up for that one event. And everyone I came with was like, where did they come from? How come they never been back for nothing since? But it was literally, the difference was amazing. As I walked in, I was like, wow.
Am I at the right place?
It was a completely different, it was just so different. But that event, Battle of the Brave, I wish they'd have been able to get their thing together. Because the event they put on, and the crowd they brought, I would love to see that same crowd back.
I was just about to say, what was the vibe like?
It was I mean, have you watched the Battle of the Brave event?
I think I've seen some of the battles on.
Because they were streaming it live, right? And they had issues getting the battlers from their hotels to the venue. So it took ages to start, with probably about 3, maybe 4 hours before a battle started. So
that's a long time.
It was, I think, Tanita Tan. She came on and she was like, we're gonna get to this first battle in like 5 minutes, boom, boom, boom. And the crowd spontaneously started singing, "Why you lie? Why the fuck you lie?" And it was the maddest thing in the world, like 300 people in unison just started singing. It was the funniest shit in the world. They was heckling. When I was battling Math, the man in the front row like, "Leave him alone. He already dead. He's dead, bro. Leave him."
London town was a long way for you to come just to die, so you like Adele. Next time you say hello, it's from the other side. Hey, these. Hey, yo, listen. Yo, last 4.
Like, it was, I've never battled in front of a better crowd than was that Battle of the Brave that day. And I battled in front of incredible crowds. Like, Don't Flop crowd is great. Like proper Premier battles, the crowd is amazing. But that particular crowd was like nothing I've ever seen. The energy was nuts. It was nuts. But like I said, the difference, people I've never seen before since.
But like, where are they?
I have no idea.
Like, where are you?
Yeah, where did you go?
Like,
where did you go?
Like, there's obviously the appetite for it, and it's obviously. It's not people who just turned up for a name. Like, it's people who obviously relate to the culture.
100%.
It's not just people who came, you know, because there was something at Ministry. It's people who came to watch a battle. And where are they?
Where did they go, man?
Yeah.
Because there was a lot of Hitman Holler brought a lot of UK fans out that day, man. And like, I'm not the biggest Hitman Holler fan, but online, the presence that he has, like the fans he has in the UK. It's incredible. Like, a lot of people came out to see. It was him and Hollow. Most of they came out to see, but it was like, right, so you are here somewhere. You're here. You're in this country somewhere, but you just don't come out to these events. And I think there does need to be something that puts on for those people, for that crowd who turn up
for that events. Style. Like, where is the sort of, you know, because obviously there must be something about the style of these US guys. It's not just because they're Americans, like, we're past that over here, getting hyped just because something is American. It's not just that stage. You know, so it's obviously something that, a style that, you know, that fans really want over here. And you would imagine there are battlers, you know, or there are wannabe battlers who want to battle in that style.
Who want to bring that style to the table.
There are fans, there must be guys at home, guys, you know, wherever guys battle, I don't know, or, you know, sitting in the basement just writing.
Just
battling the mirror. I don't know.
Yeah, we all do that, man.
Like, we need to find a way to get them all together, because that does sound like, you know, if that's the best crowd you've ever battled in front of. And
it was crazy.
I've seen battles where you've had insane crowds.
Like, I'm not even fronting. Like, the crowds in the UK that turn up, they're incredible, man. They're absolutely incredible. Especially, and not even to front on a London crowd, but when you go outside of London, maybe it's because they don't get to see it as regular as the events are in London. But when you go outside, it's different. The energy is crazy. We did Leeds Uni for a Don't Flop birthday. I don't even know which one it was, but I battled Chris Lees.
I've gone from shotty horror to cap gun comedy. Hey! No comedy. How the fuck could his dad flow dethrone me? How? When we done know his whole steez, just mum jokes and moties. He'll unload a whole schema, that slut's broken lonely. Pug nose and no tea, her lungs don't just hold weed. She puff coke and smoke weed. Subs blow for toasties, rum coke and ghost cheese, nuts, bowls and roast beef. Dance opens only, her bum hole gets pokey till it's come so demody. Change tactics, mate, that shit, it don't come close to Tony.
Like 1,000 people in there, and it was so hot. It was so hot. Like, the energy level never dropped. It stayed Like, and it's really hard to do over a long period of time. It's really difficult. People get tired, they get progressively more drunk as the night goes along. But somehow they managed to hold that energy level like right up there. Manchester Ritz, when about was shot, again over 1,000 people in there and hanging on to every word. Do you know what I mean? Like dead silence and then erupting. It's crazy.
Proper engaged crowd.
Proper. But that just bringing a bunch of people out that you're just kind of familiar with. The environment that you know. Like, there was nothing like that Battle of the Brave, man. It was insane. Absolutely insane, man.
And black people do bring a different energy. There's just a different vibe. There's just a different.
They start singing spontaneously. No, it was so
it's
like.
Not a football chant.
It was just so funny, man. Such a wild event. Crazy, man. Even that, I'm pretty sure that DNA was there, Arsenal was there, and these are guys who have come to Don't Flop many times. Many times, and even they recognize, wow, this is a whole different crowd, man. Where's the guys that I normally see? I don't know, and I don't know who these guys are, man. But I'm happy they're here.
Okay, so if we talk about before all of that stuff, before Don't Flop, and in fact, let's talk about actually, when did you actually first write a rap? Like, or in your head, like, when did you start? When was that first?
The first time I wrote a rap would have been 87 or 88, quite possibly.
Okay, so I might need to adjust that. So I had a note here saying that you're 4 decades in.
Yes.
But actually you're 5.
Oh, yeah.
Like, maybe, I don't know, maybe you didn't perform in the 80s, but if you were writing in the 80s, that means into this 2020s, you're in your 5th decade.
So, 8, 9, 6, this, like,
That is nuts.
Jesus, I'm old, man.
I'm sorry, but I, that's an accolade.
I'm old.
That's an accolade. That's a Godfather type accolade.
It was like, but it was some proper, like on some Bobby Brown type vibe. It was proper. I think the only 2 lines I remember from it was like, it's like, in this oyster of a world, you're my precious pearl.
I knew that we were girl. If you're rapping back then, it has to be.
It had to
about
be.
A girl.
But that was like, it was primary school times, man. It was just me trying to.
Oyster pearl, that's really cute.
Just trying to. How do I do what they're doing? How do I translate that? But what do you know in primary school? You don't know anything.
But also, okay, so that's really interesting that you were rapping, because how many kids in the playground were rapping, or were they singing along to Rick Astley? Like?
No, do you know what? There were kids in my class who had older brothers.
Okay.
So, like Derek B, we rapped along to Derek B.
Okay.
What was the tune they used to? White Lines. We didn't even know what it was about. We had no idea what White Lines was about.
Vision, dreams of passion. And all the while I think of you. A very strange reaction. The more I see, the more I do. Something like a phenomenon. Baby. Telling your body to come along. But white lines blow away.
White lines going through my... Like, we was on this... Like, in the playground and that. But it was a very new thing. And it wasn't at the forefront. It wasn't popular culture back then. Like you said, Rick Astley. Because those times there, I was still listening to Kylie Minogue. You know what I mean?
When you think, so back then, there wasn't even Sky TV. Sky TV didn't come in until...
You didn't even have Channel 5 back then.
Yeah, exactly. It was 4 channels. And there was no, we didn't have any non-terrestrial television until, I think I was 10 when Sky came in. That was like 1990. I'm sure that's when we got started,
it was about
1990. So before then, you were literally stuck with what was on sort of Top of the Pops. Or like Saturday morning, like there was, or the radio. Like, you
and there
listen
was
to the
very
radio.
little hip-hop or rap on the radio at those
I
times.
can't imagine.
But I say that my mum had bought me a 7-inch single. It was the first rap record I ever got. It was called, the group was called Whistle. And I think the song's called Only Bugging. And we're called Whistle, and this is true. We love to do the things that we're not supposed to do.
We're called Whistle, and this is true. We love to do the things that we're not supposed to do. We don't need robbing, stealing, or mugging. In fact, don't take it seriously. We're only bugging.
That was like 85.
Wow.
It was like 85. And I learned that off by heart. I used to play that record on repeat. You know what I mean? The little 7-inch thing, and you had to put there was a little round thing that you had to put in the middle of the vinyl. So, and I used to rinse that record. And then I think about 88, 89, my uncle gave me the Beastie Boys' License to Ill album. And then my stepdad gave me Tougher Than Leather. Might have been Tougher Than Leather. It's the album with Peter Piper picked peppers and Run Rock Rhymes. It was that album there.
Now Peter
Piper
pick peppers, but Run Rock
Rhyme,
Humpty
Dumpty,
fell
down,
That's his art.
time,
Jackie
nimble,
what?
nimble,
And he was
quick,
but jam,
master,
mud,
faster, Jacks on Jay's dick.
Now little Bo Peep Cole lost her sheep, and Rip Van Winkle fell hell asleep. And out of chilling summer in Wonderland, Jack serving Jill bucket in his hand. His damn at the stage making out that sound. The turntables might wobble, but they don't fall down.
And just like I was still under 10 years old, you know what I mean? But I just absorbed it. I took everything in. And then I hit, so I just started to try to rap. But obviously I wasn't, what they were talking about was they were grown, they were teenagers at least, writing about their experiences. I was still in primary school. My experience was like, I don't know, going to the toilet,
being late for school.
Being late for school, playing run-outs under the state. Like there was my world view was really limited.
Not much material.
Not much material to work with at all. But then I got to secondary school, and I can still remember the day I overheard a conversation where somebody said, "You don't know about NWA." I wasn't even part of the conversation. I just overheard it, and I said, "Right, what's that?" And I went, and we used to go to Red Records in Elephant and Castle, and I went in there and I saw this NWA album, straight out of Compton. And like took that out. Okay. I went to go and buy it. He said, "I can't sell that to you. It's got parental advisory on it." I said, "Right." Went back home. I said, "Mum, Mum, I need you to do something for me. Can you come and buy me this thing?" She came down to Red Records. She looked at it. She went up. He said, "You do know it's got parental advisory." She was like, "Fair enough." She said, "It's okay." She bought it. I went home. I put it on. It was the crackling of the vinyl. And then you are now about to witness the strength of street knowledge.
You are now about to witness the strength of street knowledge.
And from then, I never ever, I didn't look back. That particular point in my life shaped pretty much everything I ever did after that point. But it was just wild hearing that. And I'll tell you the funniest thing is that there was a point when she actually heard it. I used to play it mad low. And there was one time she heard it. She came in, she snapped the shit. Like, she snapped my vinyl while swearing at me.
Mumsy.
Because it had swearing in it. You know, like, it was,
the height of hypocrisy.
The juxtaposition between, hold on, you cursing at me now, but you snapping this shit because they cursing. But I went and bought it back again. You know what I mean? Because by the time I bought it back, they knew me in Red Records. They knew, Mumsy don't mind. She buy it. We was cool. We was cool. But like I heard that, and then just kind of at that point there, it was me and my little friend. I say my little friend. He's a rapper himself now, Tuza. But me and him, we used to just go to his uncle's house and just dub off anything we could. His uncle had such a selection of rap. Like he had the fat boys and the skinny boys. No one knows who the skinny boys are. They were not a thing. But he had them.
Yeah. Wow. So that must have been a treasure trove.
It was a proper treasure trove, man. Like early, MC Light, Chub Rock, CPO, Above the Law, Ice-T, just so much Cool G rap.
Wow.
King T, just so much late 80s, early 90s vinyl.
Yeah.
And we used to just get these tapes and sit and just study it, and then see if we could write anything that was kind of the same. And then 2 Live Crew came along. I heard 2 Live Crew, and oh my goodness, I managed to get a video of 2 Live Crew, and it was like a tour that they did, and it was interspersed with their videos. And it was the wildest shit.
Wow.
Say face down, ass up. That's the way we like to fuck. Face down, ass up. Let me hear you say.
You gotta remember, I'm like 12, 13 years old. I'm looking at these eyes wide like that.
Yeah.
So then the first rap I wrote at that point was just a really dirty rap. It was really, really flat, just filthy.
Okay, you can do this too.
Yeah.
I don't just have to talk
And
about being late for school.
And then that became like, my brethren took it and he rapped it in school. He learned it and rapped it in school, and it became a little thing that they used to rap in the school that he went to. Yeah, and like I'd forgotten it. But for a little period, there's a group of kids or a group of adults now who I know can probably remember that thing there. It was the first thing I ever wrote. But yeah, then it was like, just years passed and I just really wanted to be good. I never, at that time in the UK, nobody was a rapper. No, you had like London Posse, who had a couple songs on MTV Raps. You had Credit to the Nation. Credit to the Nation was his name. He had a song called Teenage Sensation that was on your MTV Raps. But apart from that, it never looked like a viable career path. So I just wanted to be able to rap. Like, so if anyone heard me by accident, they could just say, he's pretty good, he's alright. And that was my main objective. My main goal was just to be good at rap. So if Ice Cube if I was ever in a situation where I bumped into Ice Cube, that I could rap and he'd be like, hey, he's alright, man. So that was my main motivation, just to be good enough for someone to hear.
Yeah, because there really wasn't an avenue, a lane. There really wasn't much going on that you think it's worth. I'm not saying it's worth, but it would sort of give you the inspiration to really do something else, or to sort of start making music, or really exploring it, because it just wasn't a thing. Like when I realised how far you went back, I was just thinking like, wow, I didn't even know that there were people into like the amount of people that must have even listened to sort of, because you had to seek it out.
You had to go and find it.
You had to seek it out, or you had to be exposed to someone who was
pirate
exposed
radio
to it.
Was a really big, a big thing back then too, as far as access goes.
But even then, like what people were listening to, so like if you're sort of early 90s, like people weren't really listening to rap. Like if they were listening to rap, it was kind of, there was some commercial American R&B type rap, so there was, rapping out and people were listening to it. But like in London, I don't know about necessarily around the rest of the country, but I know London had, and I had a boyfriend who was into rap, and everyone just used to think it was so odd that he listened to listen. He didn't just 100%, sort of
man,
like the stuff that by now we had on Sky and MTV and that stuff. He actually listened to underground rap, and so I knew that there was a scene back then, but it was just so.
It was very niche.
And before that,
incredibly niche. I mean, even like I grew up on dancehall, so even on my estate, like we used to swap sound tapes and stuff. You know what I mean? That was the thing. But most people were into like bashment dancehall, and there was a few of us that had branched off and got into this thing called rap. And it was really, really, it was a very niche, like a small thing. But then I found, I discovered Hip Hop Connection, which was a hip hop magazine that it interviewed rappers, lots of American rappers, but it also shed light on who was doing what in the UK.
Okay.
And it was through there, like I read that publication for years and years and years.
Pre-internet days. When
Yeah,
there was
yeah.
no way to network unless you
No, of course
literally
not.
knew a person, or like you say, you randomly pick up what's this magazine?
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. And
Here's
then
the
through
doorway.
that, I learned that people did put on events. You had like Apricot Jam was, I don't know, I might have been 15 or 16 when that was going on. There were little bits and pieces, but I was too young to go to any events at that time. And then at the same time, we were still on the dancehall thing, so we'd just be going dance every weekend. And there was a shubs everywhere. You know, in the 90s,
Yes.
you could walk from one estate to the next estate,
yeah,
and there'll be shubs everywhere.
Yeah.
And sometimes it might be a little £2 to get in,
Yeah.
or a little something, but there'd be somebody, you'd have drinks at the bar, they might have cooked. Do you know what I mean? So in someone's kitchen, they've got a little table in front of their kitchen where you can't get in. There's a sound system playing, and they're selling food, they're selling alcohol, like. And that was my teenage years. From I was like 13 years old, we'd be out every weekend, just going. I can remember going to, me and my friend, we got a bus to Streatham, and we got off the bus in Streatham and walked from Streatham all the way back to Elephant and Castle, right? From about 9 o'clock in the night, just going to different dances. So we went dance in Streatham, left there, walked down into Brixton, went to 2 dances in Brixton, left there, got to Kennerton, went to a dance in Kennerton, left there, walking, got chased by about 30 man. Down like just down by Kennerton Park there, then got down back into Elephant and Castle, like went to another one there, and then went back onto the block. And by then it was like 2, 3 in the morning. Do you know what I mean? And we just went, that's what you did.
For the days,
With no mobile phones, no form of communicating.
You
so
couldn't
you're
talk
just
to anyone when you left the house. That's it.
That was it,
That's it. You might use a payphone, like, but if you were both on the move, that's it.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah.
So that was, you just used to go around, and because of the way, because there was no phones, you networked by knowing people. You just used to know people from different places.
Areas. Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
So you let's see if he's around. So you just walk through, and then while you're looking for him on his estate, there's a dance going on over there. So you just pop over there and see if you know anyone that's there. And that's how we got chased, because we walked into a dance and we didn't know nobody. Like, what are you doing? On our toes, man.
You could do that back then.
Yeah.
You could just go randomly to different places, you know, jump on a bus, turn up somewhere, you know.
Yeah, see what was happening, man. But that was kind of, so we was really into dancehall back then, and sound tapes and stuff like that. Sound clashes, Tudor Rose used to have sound clashes all the while.
Yeah.
So that was the thing, but hip hop was just my thing when I went home. As soon as I, you know what I mean, once I was indoors and whatnot, or in my Walkman, or like me and my brethren, we'd just be sitting, just, have you heard this? Have you heard this? But yeah, so then buying this magazine, I learned that there are places that people congregate and do this thing. Like, but I was 19 before I bumped into rappers, like people who rapped in England, like in a wider thing.
That just shows how niche it is. You've
It
been
was
into it for so long.
For mad long, for mad years.
By then.
For mad years, but I was literally 19 before I decided I'm gonna go and see what this is about.
Yeah.
And it was because of who was it? Loudmouth and a guy named Passive 65. I met my barber. I used to go and get my hair cut in this little place in Walthamstow, and I always used to bring the sauce in there with me. Right? So this guy was in there. He was a new barber, and he was from Brownsville. So he was like, you like hip hop, my dude? You like hip hop? Like, boom, cool, man. A shout out your written up to now. He just did my hair last week, man. This is still my barber 20 years later. But like, the best. But like, he was like, yeah, you into rapping? I was like, yeah, me too. So like, we sparked up a friendship outside of a barbershop setting. We sparked up a friendship. Then I met people he knew, which was Loudmouth, who was at the time rapping, and this guy Passive 65. And he was like, they do this cypher in Clapham Common. You should probably come up there and what's it called? Because by then I was rapping and I was confident in showing people my raps. So I went up to Clapham Common, and it was Tommy Boy. Tommy Boy was doing these little ciphers. So I went there, I met Doc Brown and Reveal, who, that's how we formed Poisonous Poets. But I met them. There was guys like, who was there? Inja was there. Back then he was called Genius G. There was the Malicious Street Squad. So, what's my guy's name, man? He battled Iron Solomon for Jump Off. Oh my days, for the life man, I can't remember it, man. That's bizarre.
I wonder why. You say you told me you got no memory and you can't remember.
No, the thing is, but I really should remember his name.
Yeah, okay.
Mike Assassin.
Okay.
That's who it was, Mike Assassin.
Yeah, what up, Iron Solomon, Manhattan, you know what I'm saying, New York City, end of the week all day.
Mike Assassin, innit? Elite team Southeast in your mouthpiece. You know where man is like? Look behind me, man. It's big out here, man is out in New York, Times Square, you get me?
Welcome back to the Jump Off Street Battles. We're here in the US, New York, Times Square. Got my man Iron Solomon on the left, Mike Assassin on the right. We about to get it on. It's on you, Mike Assassin.
Hey, yo.
Round one.
Hey, yo. This is Mike Assassin straight out of the UK. About to serve this guy, Iron Solomon, he's gay. I'm about to spit these raps. He looks like Corey Feldman's face, awkward his bum fluff, and a fucking stupid New York hat.
There was a bunch of these guys here. There was like 30 man out here just ciphering. And that was how I got roped into the first freestyle battle I had done in a rap setting. Because I had battled prior to that, but like in a park on the block.
Okay.
With like the man them.
Yeah,
it's
very informal,
yeah,
not about
like,
just your bars against
smoked
theirs.
by a guy. I was freestyling.
Yeah.
And there was girls, I felt so embarrassed, man. There was girls around everything. He beat me rapping LL Cool J lyrics.
No.
Yeah, he killed me, man. And you gotta remember, I'm freestyling.
Yeah.
And he's just got the.
It's not even like he's got written, he's got.
Yeah, he's got
LL
someone
Cool
else's
J's
but.
written.
And I'm like, bro, how is he so good at rapping? Like, how was this happen? How did you get so good?
And I
But he
didn't know
I didn't know
you,
it.
yeah.
And he's just like boom, 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 and the girls are going crazy, and I'm like, bro. But yeah, he killed me that day, man. But it wasn't until like years afterwards I realized he was rapping someone else's thing.
Little punk.
But yeah, so we went to this cypher, and as we was rapping, like we did this thing. And then Reveal and Doc Brown came up to me afterwards and they was like, boom, bro, you're cold, man. We rap, we got a little group going on. Would you like to join us? And you got to remember, this was my first time ever meeting people who rapped.
That must have been such an incredible, like, to go from nothing.
Yeah.
Kind of by yourself.
It was from
like
0
10 years.
to 100, man, like, bang. So then I started, I met up with them. I started going to check Reveal. And like you go to Reveal's house and there'd be 20 man in his house. Like just, and all of them rapping.
Yeah.
All of them rapping. And that was like the early days. Back then it was A Few Good Men, I think was the crew that they had. So they brought me into this little crew, there was like 20 of them. And then out of that crew, me, Reveal, Doc and Therapist broke apart and formed Poisonous Poets. And that became, that's kind of my foot in the door in this whole UK hip hop thing, and because like similarly at the same time I'd been rapping on the block and meeting a couple people, and one of my friends was working for Dennis Childs, who owned a record label and was trying to sign people and whatnot. So he took me to the studio. I don't even remember, was it Arista? I can't remember, but whoever Iron Maiden was signed to.
Yeah.
Because when I walked in, they had Iron Maiden plaques on all the walls, and I was like, wow. You know when you're a kid and you're super impressed by things, like, wow. So I started working with these guys. Shout out Kenny, because I still see him to this day, man. So they brought me in, and through that, we had started doing bits and pieces. And I had met another guy called Dwayne Flames. I don't know if you know him. He used to be called Kid Freak back then. But I started working with him. And then, so I was doing that with him when I was at home. But then when I was leaving, I was going to meet Doc and Revs and Ferro, who was doing this Poisonous Poets thing. And then someone came to me and said, I want to sign. And I was like, okay, fair enough. Like, what do you do with it? And he was like, yeah, I work for BMG, Sony BMG. I want to sign you. Let's do something. I was like, okay, but if you want to sign me, have you heard of Poisonous Poets? Like, I'm in a rap.
Yeah.
As I said it, his eyes went. Like, it's just the name Poisonous Poets. Like, because at that time we'd been around. We used to do kung fu. We were known in like the UK hip hop circuit in London. We was about doing stuff, man. Like with Mud Fam, the Berry Crew, so Skinny Man, Chester P, Maestro, like Rodney P, just the Big Ted, Shorty Blitz, like the origins of all the people right now that you look at and you think about UK hip hop and whatnot. Yeah, they was there at that very beginning part, like Jest.
The origins.
The real
Genesis.
So yeah, we kind of I was like, boom. If you got signing me, you got to sign them. And he was like, not a problem, man. No problem at all. So we got signed to a major label, man. Like within. Yeah, it was crazy. Nothing really come of it, but it was a great experience. Like I had a time where all I had to do was rap. Like that was it. The manager would come and pick us up in the morning time, drive our studio. We'd be in studio 8-9 hours a day.
How old were you at that time?
I was like 20, 21 years old, man. Yeah, it was amazing. Like, and it was such a, like I said, it was such a thing to be able to not only just think about rapping. I didn't have another job to go to. I didn't have to worry about money. There was nothing else I had to concern myself with but just rapping. So everything, all I did was everything became a punchline. Or like, how would I turn that around? It's all I thought of all day long was rap.
Building some serious muscle memory.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, from an early age, just where you got nothing better to do than rap.
Yeah, that's
think about how to put raps together. Like
that's all I did, man. We just used to listen to rap, and like, so that's kind of how everything started, man. That was a time where I learned so much about the techniques. I learned how to make, like, how do you work this out? How do you chop it inside of a bar? How do you count bars? I didn't used to count bars. I just rap forever. You know what I mean? But how do you write a 16? How do you get it succinct? How do you take, you've written 24, but you've only got 16 bars on that song? How do you edit out 8 and make it that thing that you need? So it was just, like lessons upon lessons. Went around the country, man, like just doing shows and stuff. Brighton, Bristol. Like I opened for Busta Rhymes, we opened for Saigon, De La Soul, Jedi Mind Tricks, Immortal Technique. Like I've been at Hammersmith Apollo. I've rocked that stage. I've rocked like Shepherd's Bush Empire, done Brixton Fridge. Like, and I was a young man. You know what I mean? I was pretty much a kid, still wet behind the ears. But yeah, we just did this whole thing, man. And and it just kind of set the tone for everything that happened after that. It's why when I came into battle rap, they were like, oh, that's Tony D from such and such. Because I'd already put the work in and put my name out there. But it literally, I had one of the best experiences of all time, man, because I only had to rap. I didn't have anything else to concern myself with. They were just like, you rap, man. You make this thing. And it just set the stool out, man. So that was like, and as I was saying, so when we did that cypher, and the Tommy Boy cypher at Clapham Common, they were like, well, we do these battles. Would you be up for doing a battle? Like, cool, man. So I went to FKO Raw, which at the time was in Subterranea in West London. And they had a boxing ring with a Tommy Boy logo on the canvas. So so that's how we battled. We battled in this boxing ring. And you know what's so funny? In the battles, I think it was Doc and Maestro were hosting. And they had certain people just come in and rap and whatnot. But Skinny Man was the reigning champion. He had won the year before. They had it was a belt and everything, man. They had a belt with the winners' names etched into the shits.
Wow.
So I think Skinny Man had won, Chester P had won. And it was my first real battle. My first where there's lots of people I'm battling. I've got a crowd. There are other people that I've got to battle out if I can progress. So.
And was it freestyles at this point?
It was freestyling at that point. There was no written. Everything was just freestyling. So, and as far as an experience goes, to be, up to now, if you told me I'm gonna battle in a boxing ring, that's like as a prop, it's incredible.
Yeah.
But this is 20 years ago. Like,
yeah. And it's your first
yeah, I think this
battle.
was like 99, 98 or 99 maybe.
Wow.
But so we went in, and the very first two names they picked out the hat was me and Chester P. And I don't know if you know about Chester P, but he is solidified. Like, he was solidified then.
Yeah.
At that point there, he'd already battled and beat, the rumor has it, the legend goes that he beat Common in a battle at Jazz Cafe.
Yeah. I think I've heard that.
So, me and him was the first names out the hat, and I was like, this is he is the guy.
It's your first battle?
Yeah, my first ever battle against probably the number one guy. And so we went at it, it was like, I think, was it 30 seconds or 60 seconds? It might have, I don't know, but they put the beat on, it might have been 30 seconds. But they played the beat and you've just got to rap. So we went at it. And then they was like, right, they put both our names back in the hat.
Yeah.
And they said that was just a warm-up. And then they picked two more names out. So I got a buy into the next round, so to speak.
So they must have realised, okay, we can't let either one of these guys
yeah,
go
it
out.
seemed like
we need
I'd
them
done
in
quite
the
well.
next round. So
Like,
then we just put them back in the hat.
So we both went back into the hat.
Okay, that must have been a real
and that
boost
kind of
for you.
was like, all right, I did okay.
Yeah.
I did okay. And then I think I battled Genius G, who's Inja, who I've since worked with numerous times, man, doing poetry workshops or writing workshops and stuff. Proper good guy. But yeah, it was him. Who else did I battle that day? I think Cyrus the Virus. And then it ended up me versus Reveal in the final. And it was a 3-round battle on beat that ended up going 6 rounds.
Wow.
And if you know anything about Reveal, you know he doesn't stop, man. He's one of those guys who keeps coming. He just keeps coming, man. And like, yeah, he after 3 rounds, then 4 rounds, then 5 rounds, then 6 rounds. I was like, I gotta wave the flag, man. I was like, I can't keep this up. But he was like, So he took the belt, and what was so funny about that is that I'd driven him to the event and I was taking him home with me. He went to school the next day. No word of a lie, man. No word of a lie. He went to school the next day. And then when he went to school, I had to tell the kids there, do you know what I did last night? They're like, shut up, shut up. Like, yeah, he literally, he beat me in a rap battle, in a nightclub, in a boxing ring. Won a belt. We won a Tommy Boy doormat, like a rubber doormat. We had vinyl and CDs galore. There's so much stuff, man. And yeah, he went to school.
Wow, what an incredible, so it's great for you, first experience, but wow, as a 16-year-old, going back to school the next day.
He went to school the next day, man.
Trying to listen to Mrs. Francis tell you about,
Yeah, trying to teach you geography.
No, not really.
Do you know who I am? Do you know what I did yesterday?
Yeah, not feeling that.
Like, yeah, shit's crazy, but that's pretty much my entire history from how I got into it, into how it all came about.
So after that first battle experience, did you know, like, okay, I need to do this?
Yeah, kind of. I was more focused on, because it was very soon after that we got signed.
Okay.
So at that point, I was more focused on, how do we make this? Because at the time, it's like So Solid were out doing videos. It's when you see the rise of UK garage come up. And we was looking at it like, well, how do we make this translate to that? Big Brothers were another group who would, I think it was 3 boys and 3 girls, who came out and they had like songs on MTV, they were doing their thing. And it was like, okay, so how do we translate what we do to get the crowd that they're doing? So it was I was less focused on battling. But freestyling has been a part of, it's like my rap DNA. Like I said, me and Tuzo, we used to go swimming every Saturday, right? And we'd walk up New Kent Road to Elephant and Castle Swimming School. And we'd freestyle all the way there. And what we'd try to do was freestyle and not repeat any of the subjects we'd said on the way there, on the way back. So this is how I honed my craft. Like up to even these days, up to now, you catch me and Smith sitting down with Matrix or whatnot, put a beat on and we just freestyle away, man. It's still, it's in me. It's fun. I like it. I like the challenge. I like the creativity of it. It's just enjoyment.
Keeps it sharp.
But yeah, of course it does. And it keeps your mind ticking over like non-stop. So yeah, I kind of like, how do we do this thing? How do we make it to do what they're doing? And something that I didn't quite realize at the time is that we weren't making the same music that those people were making. We weren't making UK garage that was a popular thing at the time. We weren't making pop rap. We were making hardcore UK hip hop. Because when we got, after we were signed and went to a big meeting, we sat at this massive desk after we'd completed the album, and he had like a listening session with the label heads. And there was not, the only black person in the room was our manager and like us.
Wow.
And we were the only people under the age of 50 also.
Wow.
Like, it was just a bunch of old white men sitting there. And like kind of when they finished listening, they were like, it doesn't sound like Big Brothers. And we were like, shit. Well, if you wanted those, you would have had to sign somebody like them.
That's it.
You just signed 4 guys who are focused intently on making hardcore rap. And that was kind of the end of our dealings with a major label. We came away, we put out an album ourselves. It became somewhat like of a cult underground classic, like Poisonous Poetry.
It was a virus, infection. You didn't need a doctor to tell you that,
Yo. I meet battle rappers. Like Chris Lees, he told me that I wore out my Poisonous Poetry thing, man. Bobby Rex, bro, I heard you man on the radio. You do this? Even Skirmish from Rhyme Asylum. Now, I think of Rhyme Asylum as like elevated. They really did this UK hip hop thing, man. They're well known in there. But the first day I met him, he was like, bro, I first heard you on the radio. And I was like, damn, I want to do it like this. Like, I want to do it like these guys. And it's like, it's amazing to me, like, all those years afterwards to meet these people. And they're like, bro, I came up with it, man. And
you're a proper pioneer.
Yeah, it was just mad because you could only really get the CD from like Dark and Cold, or if you bumped into one of us. Do you know what I mean?
It was so cult. It was such a cult classic. Like,
it
literally
was like,
had to.
And it was such a small community, man. Because you had like Deal Real and Dark and Cold would have been the only places for hip hop at that time where people congregated. You'd go there and shit was amazing, man. But like, so that's pretty much my history in terms of how the two of them came together, because they were very much interlinked. But yeah, like that was late 99, early 2000s. There was Battle Scars was another thing that Revs entered. I didn't even enter that one, man.
But it was around at the time.
But it was
so
around.
There was sort of a battle scene building. There was battles starting to...
There was things everywhere. Like, and I mean, Reveal used to be, he's such a hungry guy, man. Like, he'd go to clubs he was too young to be in. And he'd just wait outside and battle guys, man. Like, there's a legendary story, and it happened before I met him. And I've known him since he was like 15 years old, so I don't know how old he was. But the story goes that he battled Sway. And like in a cypher, and people had said he lost. So he went to Sway's block and battled him again till he beat him. Like, I don't like, that's how the legend goes. That was the legend I had heard, because one time I walked into Garage in Highbury in Islington, right by Highbury Station. I don't even think it's still a club. I don't know if it's a club anymore, but it was called the Garage. And I walked in and he was on stage rapping, right? And I was like, oh, that's that kid, because I'd read about him. He'd battled Shabam Sadiq. He was just known as this little young battle cat. And I was like pointing, that's that guy, that's him, man. He's cold. And then it was like about a year after that I finally met him at this thingamajig. And I'm like, I saw you perform, man. I saw you do this shit. But yeah, he was, the timeline's like crazy. It's insane, man. But yeah, that was kind of my introduction to it. And then I kind of just dropped out. Like once we got dropped from the label, Doc really focused on it 100%. He went in, he started recording albums, he went on tour. Like Doc solidified his spot. He really went and did this. Me, I went back on the roads. So
because it just didn't seem like there was that much of a space. And
Yeah,
when you did
yeah.
get in that boardroom, they're like, can you be something else, please?
yeah, so it just seemed like there's nothing
Yeah.
here to really even do this. Although, like, we were still about doing bits and pieces,
Yeah.
man. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, the first day I met Skinny Man, Revs took me up there. We was in Tullerton Park, and he was like, I'm doing a show later, man. Do you want to come to this show? Cool, man. So we went to do this show at Scala, and he called me up on stage, man. He said, like, I met this kid today. Like, he's sick. Come on. And he put me up on stage in the middle of his set and was like, hey, rap for them. Tell them what you do.
Right.
And like, my,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? Like, I got to rap in front of Skinny Man's
Wow.
audience. Shit was just crazy. I've had some mad experiences that coming up in this rap thing. But yeah, that was like everything kind of by 2002. We kind of not drifted apart, but we weren't so focused on rap as intently.
Yeah.
And then Doc went, like I said, Doc went on tour, and when he came back, he had Low-Key with him, and Low-Key was like 17, I think, at the time. He was still a really young kid, but an amazing rapper, like an incredible rapper. And then he introduced us to Styler. We came back together again as Poisonous Poets, with Low-Key and Styler as the additional members, and we put together another album, which never came out. It never came to fruition. It's online. I think you can go on YouTube and listen to it. But we made like 20, 25 songs.
Yeah.
But yeah, and even again after that, I kind of just dropped myself out, like, because this doesn't pay. There's no viable way of getting income from this.
Yeah. And you got to put so much effort and work into it if you're, trying to be committed to it.
Exactly.
You want to do it.
And I've got bills to pay,
Exactly,
there's things to be doing.
right?
So I just went, left it alone, went back to doing what I was doing. And then after a long period of time, after even like YouTube came out, and I started watching some jump off battles, and I was like, I could probably do this.
Yeah.
I could probably do this, man. Because I saw Mike Assassin doing them, and I've known him since I was a young man in the game. So I saw him doing it.
Alright, I'm about to spit it. You get me when I rip in it. Blood, your jeans are big enough for me and my whole crew to fit in it. I spit flows. You get me when I rip you. Like you're a waste of flesh, you're a waste of nipples. I'm about to merch dig. You get me testing this. We're outside Selfridges. You should try Selfridges.
Like, okay, I saw Archaic. That was the first time I'd ever seen him. And I was like, you know what, I could probably do this. But at the same time, again, rap wasn't, although I listened to it, it wasn't what I was raving to. Like, I raved to Funky House and like early garage and stuff like that. Like, Gabriel, them tunes there.
I was there from the time I was 14. That was me.
So that was my thing, man. Like,
I did wonder. I was thinking, you go back so far. I was thinking, okay, maybe he started with Bashment or Jungle or Garage, because people would clash and they would rap. Like, it was a style, like it was the whole thing. That's where you got the So Solids and like the Miss Dynamite. That's sort of what they came out of. It's a completely different style. But I just thought you go back so far, even before that.
Oh yeah,
really.
well I used to go Jungle Rays, like Det, Shabba. Do you know what I mean? Like we used to, because that's as I said, it kind of was a transition from dancehall into jungle, where everyone was just like on this thing. And it wasn't really. I was never the biggest fan of jungle music, but I'd go rave. Who wasn't, man? Like, it just wasn't. My older brother, my big brother's DJ Renegade, who was like, he was rarely in this thing back then. So like, it wasn't for me, because it was all, jungle was about the music and about the energy, and I was more about lyricism. So yeah, that whole thing, when I found like funky and like the old school garage, okay, so this. This, do you know what I mean? Back to round ones, and then you're like, whoa!
Those were such good times. It was such a, it sort of came from Bashment. Then you got the really sort of, just the high energy, just proper high energy jungle. You just had to be constantly on that high energy. There's no slowdown. There's no wind down music. And then you got that soulful garage just came in. It was like nothing I'd heard before. Like, it was so, because the jungle was very it was, you know, you could see the clear roots from the Bashment. It was very, you know, so many of the samples. That's what it was. But garage, it was like, what? Yeah. He had those house influences from America. Yeah, it was so different.
Like, to this day, I still love house, man. I love house music. But yeah, just so where it kind of veered off, I was still rapping, I was still writing, because I've always liked the process of writing. I like how it challenges the way that you see things, the way that you view things. How do you take something that you've just seen and turn it into a punchline? Or how do you rap about that particular topic? So I've always stayed writing, but I used to just be raving. Like just old school, we just used to be going house raves and stuff. So it wasn't really a thing, and I just kind of just left it alone. And then Reveal sent me a video in about 2009, I think it was, of the Fighting Irish, which was DFI. And it was these two Irish guys battling. And because I'm half Irish, he sent it to me like, hey bro, look at these Irish guys. And then, as you know, when you watch YouTube, recommendations come on the side, right? So I'm watching this video and I saw Nishi in one of the things on the side battling. I was like, I know him. I know him. So I watched his battle. He had 2 up online at the time, I think. I watched them, I was like, wow, I could do this, you know.
The UK don't have a smack division. I'm in a mad position. Start battling tramps like this to snatch a living till my traps are shifted. He still plays with action figures, Barbie dolls with plastic minges. He don't have a bitch. Believe this bag of chicks an actual chicken. I hate this man for living. Hope he feels my pain. Hope his mum's a cancer victim. Hope his dad will die of AIDS. Hope his dad and gramps are listening. Hope you fucking die today. Your grandson's a bitch who put the zeitgeist as his damn religion.
Because at the time, was writing as well. This was not freestyle. This was fully written.
Okay, so this is the first time that you've really sort of seen writtens being.
This was the very first time I'd seen it in the UK.
Okay.
Because prior to that, I had seen Smack DVD. Mixtape Kings DVD. That's when that thing was really popping. And like I said, my barber is from Brownsville. He used to get all of this. So me and him, there's a Tay-Rock battle. Probably my favorite battle of all time, Tay-Rock versus Armin. And Tay-Rock's like 15 or 16 years old. And they go like 8 or 9 rounds.
I ain't on no knife food shit. I'm on some cut him if he acts, cause the knife fool quit. I'm on some other high school shit. And as far as your chest, I'll put your back into it. Like I'm Ice Cube shit. Yeah, fuck them all. I'll fuck them all. Like the fuck with y'all. One in your brother's skull, one made another fall. I'm a fucking boss. You want floss, you can floss with the fucking gods. Cause I'ma swing the blade till you got a couple stuck and stomp your head till it feel like I'm stuck in sauce.
But it's just that, I used to sit there watching it. I probably watched it 100 times. I've just used to sit there. Every time I got my haircut, put that one back on, put that back on again. So I sit and just watch Tay-Rock, and so I knew people did rap. And then obviously there was like the Mook and Lux. There was Lux and Miles. There was Mook versus Jones. There was Jin versus Serious Jones. Jin versus, what was the guy? The guy who said Words Connect a bunch of times. I forget, man. But there was like, so the DVDs, I was aware in America they did battles and it was written. And I didn't know how to make that transition. How do you just make that thing? And then I'd see, so once I saw it in the UK, and I was like, oh, you do this? So they have this thing here? So I hollered at Nishi, and I was like, bro, how did you get into this? He said, bro, just got to holler at her. Like, I'm sure he'd love to have you on there. So I hollered at him. It turns out he knew who I was. He was like, yeah, bro, I'd love that, man. Come down. So he scheduled me a battle for like 2010, early 2010. And then about 3 weeks before, my opponent was like, no, I can't make that date. Boom, all right, got skedaddled. So he scheduled another one. He canceled that. Scheduled another one, which was Blood in the Water, which was when Disaster battled, I think Sensor battled Soul Khan and Disaster that same day. Was that, or that might have been the one he cancelled and I didn't turn up to. And what was the one I turned up to? Tenchu versus Disaster. That it might have been that. I think it might have even been 2-on-2. Lego and Tenchu versus Disaster and Awkward.
Okay.
And it was Sensor versus Arcane. So we should have been battling at that event there in 2010. But
that would have been your first
that
battle
would have been
again.
the first battle.
Another sort of massive platform.
Would have been incredible.
Yeah.
But he didn't tell, like, I got to the event and like, no one showed up, man. No, it was a no-show. So then it was 2011, me versus Mickey Worthless at April Fools. And that was my very first Don't Flop written battle in the format as we now know it to come along.
So Tony D!
Hold it down! Hey, let's go, Tony D, let's go! There's one of only two reasons they made Tony face you. Either Rowan greatly overrates you or he's really grown to hate you. Because we are not a match, and that sounds a bit harsh, but I'm Champions League and you're a kickabout in the park. You must have thought I fell off, or just that skills for an instant, because this is nicking fruit pastels from an infant. It's candy from a baby, so this pansy couldn't take me with 3 verses, 2 guns, and if your plan B was the 18.
So yeah, like 9 years ago.
Wow. No, that's 10 years ago. You said
Yeah,
2010.
I missed 2010. It was just April 2011. So it will soon be a decade in doing it in this format. That's
2002. That 20 doesn't count. So
yeah, 2020
we've got the 10 years
doesn't
already.
count.
Like, this year's all a write-off. So yeah, 10 years. Wow.
But yeah, that was like, so yeah, and then from there on, that's everything is documented. You know what I mean? Like, you can see my whole progression, my whole path from there.
Right? It's all on film. Yeah, that's crazy. Like I said, that's just you've gone through literally 5 decades there. That is insane. And you really are a pioneer in this thing. Like you created a lane when there wasn't, kind of backed out of it, it didn't really, because that's how it goes often, isn't it? The people who really create something, who are at the start of it, there isn't an audience for it because it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
And you kind of have to build this underground thing, and the people who stay in it or who sort of take from that underground, they're the ones, 2, 3 sort of...
The 2 generations afterwards that build off of
really,
it,
and now look at the scene we have. Like,
yeah, well, if you look at very similar, just the hip hop itself, like the Cool Hercs and like the Africa Bambatas and one, they're respected, but they're not paid in the same way. Even in terms, even like guys like Cool G Rap, Rock King, the guys who really set the bar for what lyricism would become. They're not paid in the same way that the Nas's and the J's are paid. And then if you look at that, the Nas and the J's, they're nowhere near paid in what like the Drakes of this world are. So it does happen in generationally, because the ones who are starting the scene, there's such a little need for it. As it grows, the people who latch on afterwards and who grow up as part of it, then they're the ones who can take full advantage and start getting paid, man. But so I guess I've been there from the days when no one was getting paid from it, to the point where I can now I can just tell people this is my fee.
That's it, that's it,
Yeah, it's strange times.
It is, and it kind of say 5 decades, but it doesn't seem like that long ago. It doesn't seem like you've done such a lot in such a short space of time. I just, as a kid, I couldn't even imagine someone rapping in an English accent.
I didn't used to.
Far out.
I didn't used to.
And I think the first time I heard rapping in an English accent, it was just like the most jarring thing. It was just like, what is it? Like, why? Like, there's so many questions, because it's so different to the tongue. It's just so, and it's so far from anything that we had, and it sounds so different to American rap. It's just, and back then again, we, anything cool was American, There was nothing cool that was British.
Yeah, there was nothing cool.
We had some cool daytime TV programs. That was about it.
The funny thing is, the coolest things out of England was still involved in black culture, but it was Jamaican culture.
Yes.
So you had like Tipper Irie, Saxon, Croxon, you had that type of era. Those people,
dub music.
And even them, like, look at the pioneers that they are. Look what they've set the trends for. And they're
literally the entire scene.
Yeah, the whole thing, man. And they don't even get their dues or their recognition in the way that they should, man. It's a weird thing to look back, especially as it seems to have happened in such, it's gained such momentum in such a really small period of time. Like those icons, you could still phone them, you could still bump into them and talk to them, and you're like, wow, they're not that far removed in terms of time, but in terms of where the scene has gone, they're miles away from.
Yeah, if you look at like a Stormzy now, say, like, you know.
Yeah, he's a global superstar, man. It's very, it's way different, man. Way different. I mean, you got drill right now, and those that's his own niche thing, and these kids are taking it and running with it, man. And like, I love to see it, to be honest with you, because it's a different. Even despite what they're talking about, this is an avenue that can take you away from those things that you're talking about. Do you know what I mean? You don't have to spend the rest of your life on that block worrying about ops. You can. This thing can take you around the world, and you can see how wide the world is, how big it is, and
what else are they going to talk about?
Exactly. Like we were just saying earlier, when I wrote my first raps, like my viewpoint was narrow. Like, what else are they talking? If you're 14 or 15 years old right now, there's a very, like, I came up doing street robberies. Like, back then it was like burglary. We used to do offices and get Sims, Apple Macs and whatnot. Like, so that's the same, they just got a different, it's just shifted. It's just shifted. Had I been rapping back then to a wider audience, those would have been the things I was rapping about. As far as it is, it's not. And it's no longer, it wasn't even my life as I came into the rapping thing. I was doing something completely different. So yeah, in terms of what it's doing for them now, I can't wait to see how it advances and how it changes and how else they can change their circumstance through this real small thing here. The fact that you can make words go together in a rhyme, and you can not only change your circumstance but your entire family's circumstance. Like, I love to see this shit, man. I can't wait to see what happens.
Exciting times ahead.
It's lovely stuff.